Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to New World Update 1.9.2. And this is going to be a quick video. If you guys are lazy to read it out yourself, just listen to it and kind of talk about a couple of updates that happen in this patch. Nothing too major, but something that some people might be pretty excited to see, especially the Bruisers out there. So that being said, let's get into it, right? So new world update, whatever downtime, we don't care about that. So first time Springtide Bloom, new seasonal event. I'm not really gonna go too much into this. It's your generic teleport to a city, pick up something, maybe kill a boss. I don't really care usually about these things, but if you're interested in PvE and those side of things, maybe take a quick little read at this part, but that's not something we personally care about. Adjusted tracker text to fix typos and display all objectives at once for new weapon quests. I mean, sure, alright. Fixed an issue caused player characters' hair to appear brighter than intended. A bit random, but sure. And then fixed an issue that blocked players from entering the cave for the quest. Okay, alright, couple of fixes. AI, fix a character collider issue that prevented some wolf, boar, and lion attacks from hitting the player. Sure. And then fixed an issue that caused boars to break away during certain attacks. Alright, let's take a look at the combat. This is what we're interested in. This is what's gonna affect PvP. This is, where a couple of conversation might take place. Now, you guys know in the last patch, Bruisers got a big nerf. Fire Mage got really good. And what else was in the last patch? Bows were pretty much good. Muskets got completely gutted. And then let's see what the next fixes to that are. And I like the fact that it didn't take long for these fixes to go through. So let's take a look what that is. First of all, fixed an issue that caused the Firestorm Harbinger materia recipe to not correctly display its category name on the stone cutting station. Okay, and updated the description for the perk Nimble to be more clear about it, increasing the regen rate. Nimble will not increase flat stamina gained from things like spears. Invigorated creates passive. Okay, I think that was pretty given, but they corrected it a little bit, and I guess that's fine. Reduce the red color intensity of enemy spells and abilities. Alright, that's good, because the red was pretty bad actually. Especially in wars, everything was just red circles on top of red circles. So I guess they changed that a little bit, that's good. And then let's take a look at the armor. Slightly increased armor mitigation for both medium and heavy armor. This is what the Bruisers really want to see. So first of all, medium armor ratings go up by 2.5 and then heavy goes up by 5%. I don't really know how much that'll play in, but it's this part right here that comes afterwards that's actually quite interesting. Shirking Fortify perk is now once again buffed. So Shirking Fortification went from like a S plus tier perk to like an A tier perk, right? So it went from Resi Shirking was the best to have to now being Resi Freedom being the best to have, and then third perk being something like Elemental Aversion. That was BIS for one patch, and now we're back to Resi Shirking Freedom being best in slot for Bruisers. Couple of people that went for Resi Freedom Elemental Aversion probably lost a lot of money crafting themselves full sets, but now if you're a Bruiser, if you have an old BIS, it's new BIS as well, okay? Resi Shirking Freedom is on top, right behind that Resi Freedom Elemental Aversion, right behind that Resi Freedom probably Refreshing Ward, right? Or even Resi Shirking Refreshing Ward. But I'm a big enthusiast of Freedom, and I think Resi Shirking Freedom is basically back on top right now. That's also the reason why I didn't change my gear at all. A lot of people were saying, oh yeah, why are you still running this? It's not BIS anymore. Because I had a feeling that Shirking got giga over-nerfed and it's gonna get buffed up again, and that's exactly what happened here, which is what we like to see. The next one, Sturdy Fortification perk, increased max value. I don't know what Sturdy Fortification even is, but I don't really care about that. And then the next one is Great Axe Fortifying Whirlwind perk. Now has increased value on armor from 6 to 8% and on weapons from 10 to 14%. So Fortifying Whirlwind, I mean, it's a 2.2% increase. It's almost like you're adding another Shirking on top of your set. So this could actually be pretty decent perk to have. Now, do you realistically run Fortifying Whirlwind on the Bruiser these days? I guess you could. Honestly. I mean, this seems good. This is just an overall a massive buff, especially if you have like something like a refreshing move, thwarting strikes, and then Fortifying Whirlwind on your Great Axe. You are completely chilling. This is a huge buff. So this is pretty good. Let's take a look at the Great Axe. Crowded Protection passive. Just a couple of buffs. 10% on the Crowded Protection. A little buff. Probably you won't ever notice it, but a buff regardless. And then Warhammer also gets tiny buffs on like 2 passives. Once again, you probably won't really notice it, but a tiny buff regardless, and you know, that is pretty interesting to see. Now, Bruiser was actually not in a bad spot when it comes to wars, but it was in a horrible spot when it comes to like OPRs and arenas. This will not change that, but Bruisers in wars, still really good, still really important to play them, and you probably just want to have Detonate to capitalize on the fact that you have less damage in general. So Stoneform Bruisers are bad, and then Detonate Bruisers very good. That's basically how you should be looking into war situations. When it comes to Fire Staff, we just got a little bit of nerfs for Fire Staff in general. I mean, everybody kind of knew it, that it is a little bit too OP, but let's take a look what they changed. So we have Watch It Burn. Temporarily disable the Watch It Burn passives from being able to trigger off of a critical from the first hit on of Meteor Shower. It'll be re-enabled when a larger fix is available. Oh, so Watch It Burn is just straight up disabled. Okay. I guess only from Meteor Shower or just in general. I'm not sure, we'll have to take a look. Flare is now a little bit, actually quite a bit reduced. So 30% reduction in damage is actually quite noticeable. If you guys don't know, Flare is, most Fire Staff players right now are going to be shooting at the player's feet because of the Flare, because of the AoE. I don't know if this will make it so it's better to just shoot people straight in the body, or if not, I'm not quite sure how this is going to impact it, but a 30% reduction in damage is quite noticeable for sure. And now you no longer... Okay, so auto attacks on Fire Mage went slower, so the flare could deal damage, but now auto attacks do not go slower anymore. So that's interesting. And then this is actually a big nerf here, Pillar of Fire. A reduction going from... Well, on armor from 17 to 11 is like kind of whatever, but the value going on the weapon from 30 to 20% is very noticeable. Why? Because the cooldown, the way it worked is you can hit 2 people. So if you hit 2 people with Pillar, it reduced your cooldown by 60% beforehand. So you could do heavy attack, Pillar, heavy attack, Pillar. If you hit 2 people, you could always keep rotating heavy Pillar, as long as you had 6 refreshings. Now, that this is gonna have, you might either have to have 7 refreshing, or that might not be possible whatsoever, and you might be better off just straight up dropping refreshings for something like Resi Freedom Shirking, just as an example, right? This is something that would need a little bit of testing, because we're going from 60% CDR to 40% CDR, and probably definitely noticeable, yeah. And then looking at a musket, we're almost getting to the end here. Musket got a little bit of a buff, so steady aim 0.5 seconds faster, and in shooter stance even faster. So you can basically get your accurate shots quite a little bit faster now. And I guess they changed the accuracy marker, like the responsiveness of the marker, which is also probably quite nice because it used to be pretty bad. Taking a look at the Entomb on the Ice Gauntlet, a little bit of less health on the Entomb. Entomb is still going to be played, it's just a free cleanse, it is just too good to not use, but a little 25% nerf on the amount of health the Entomb has is probably quite noticeable, and you might get out of Entomb much faster than you otherwise would, because stuff is going to kill the Entomb a little bit faster. And then this one is like a hidden OP right here. Void Gauntlet fixed an issue that caused the Voidblade to have tracking issues with targets. If Voidblade has good tracking now, this could actually be a secret OP patch, like actually. So this needs a little bit of testing as well, but if Void Gauntlet has good tracking, Voidblade becomes quite strong. Okay, and then looking at a little bit of a bow nerf down here, they added a damage fall off, so if you're 40 meters away, you get 50% reduction. Wait. Oh no, so, okay, at 40 meters, you start dealing less and less and less damage. If you'd reach 100 meters away, you're gonna deal 50% of the damage. So bows are gonna need to be a little bit more up close, which is pretty much the case right now already. But long range bow shots are not gonna hurt as much. And then the hitbox gets a bit decreased. This is something that might, you know, a little bit of testing in the game to see how much you actually feel this. It's probably... Realistically, probably nobody's ever gonna even notice this, but you know, it's there, a little nerf on the hitbox of the bow. And then if we went down to economy and progression, they did a couple of changes when it comes to seasonal activities. I'm already level 100, so I don't necessarily care about that. But you have some items, crafting some items with timeless shards and stuff like that. I don't think any of that is necessarily interesting. Salvage 3 tier 5 named items. Okay, so they basically changed a couple of tasks, make it nice and easy. And then a couple of changes here. When you reach level 100, it says that you get, well, just a couple of fixes. And then that is pretty much all there is to it. They fixed a couple of audio stuff, a couple of UI stuff, but we don't really care about this. So TLDR, a couple of buffs on shirking, resi shirking freedom being BIS again on the mediums and heavies. A couple of buffs for the Great Axe, couple of buffs for the Warhammer. Fortifying Whirlwind looks strong right now. Oh, we never mentioned Sword and Shield. It's really useless. This is like whatever. Fire Staff, tiny nerf on the Flare, 30%. Musket, tiny buff. Ice Gauntlet, very tiny nerf. Void Gauntlet, maybe Sleeper OP buff. And then Bow, a little nerf on the long range. And that is basically the patch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little rundown. If you did, throw me a little sub. And I'll see you again very soon with another video. Have a good one. And bye-bye. See ya.